guys, Jay here. Welcome to Models Memories Weekly, episode 218. Models Memories is a show about nothing and is filmed in front of a live studio audience. This is a show where I talk about my painting, modeling, and working experiences from the week. Now you might be thinking to yourself, Jay, you put out 3 DVDs a week. Ow! Could I possibly have more to say? Well, I do, and here goes. This week I've been working hard on my Necrons. First time I'm working on my Necrons in a while. And Games Workshop finally came out with the new Sekhetar Robots for the Thousand Suns. And they're kind of interesting. But first, you know what else is interesting? EonsOfBattle.com. EonsOfBattle.com is the place to find our merch like the Nick and Jay dice, and we have basing toppers, and is the best way to support us doing what we do with a membership. Each month, members get a credit that they can use on our new monthly terrain packs or any previous pack we have ever made. This May, we're delving back into the Hungry Maw with the Infested Colony, a world recently ravaged by the chitinous teeth and claws of the Endless Swarm. A series of ruined buildings crumbling under the weight of hypercharged plant growth and impaled by alien limbs. And shipping containers that have been ripped to shreds or torn open from the inside out. These relics of an alien war are designed with competitive wargaming in mind and an eye for storytelling, matching perfectly with our previous alien hive colony. With this set, you can build a wargaming table dripping with alien atmosphere. Necrons are my very first Warhammer 40,000 army. I remember it like it was yesterday when I walked into a Warhammer store with my neighbor, and he went with the Tyranids, but I went with the Necrons. Actually, I don't think I got Necrons that day. I think he got a ton of Tyranids, but I didn't get anything. But then like a week later, I went back and I got a box of Necron death marks. And then very quickly after that, I just built up a giant Necron army, mostly of infantry, because back then, like a box was like 40 or 50 bucks, and I would get 10 guys or sometimes 5 guys if it were some of the elites. And I would never ever buy the characters because it was like 30 or 40 bucks for a character. And that's just one guy. That's not gonna get me through the entire week, but 10 guys, I can stretch that out. My Necron army has been repainted and rebased and reposed. And I've never really added that much to it, but I'm adding some stuff to my Necrons right now because there is a new detachment, is it Awakened Dynasty? I think it's Awakened Dynasty, where you have to attach characters to your Necron units, and that makes them quite a bit better. Oh, and I really like this detachment, because I don't like the Catan. I'm okay with Canoptech. Wraiths are cool, and like some of the other Canoptech-y things, spiders and scarabs are cool, but I really like the Necron dudes and the Necron royalty. Like that is just a perfect combination. And this new detachment is really, really fun to play in. I've played it a couple of times on Tabletop Simulator, and it was really, really fun. So I need to play it in real life. And so I've been working on 3 destroyers and 2 heavy destroyers. I'm halfway through the process of building and painting those guys. And I double checked my list, and my list actually has 3 heavy destroyers. So I'm 1 short, and I'm gonna need to buy another one, but I'm so close. The Necron destroyers are so much fun. They're a little extra tanky. They got extra wounds. They can be led by the Destroyer Lords because there is still currently in the rules as written, there is the Locust Destroyer Lord, and then there is the Scorpek Destroyers. The Scorpeks are really, really fun in close combat. And then like once per game, you can supercharge them to give them devastating wounds. And so I want a big blob of Scorpeks and a big blob of Locusts. I want them kind of make them fight. Like not fight each other, but to see which one can rack up more kills over the course of the game. The Destroyers have tons and tons of great anti-Space Marine shots, and the Scorpeks have tons of great anti-Space Marine chops. And I'm really excited to see both of them in action. Although I'm giving the Locusts a little bit of a leg up because I'm gonna put, what is it called? The Shroud, like the Canoptech Shroud, which is a enhancement on one of them that can give the squad stealth, which is -1 to be hit, which feels a little unfair. Big centaur floaty Necron robots that are on 60mm bases that are for some reason -1 to be hit is silly, but it's really, really good. A bunch of guys, 3 wounds apiece, big, tanky, tough guys with Resurrection Orb in the squad and reanimation protocols. It looks like it's gonna be a ton of fun. And it lets me use my Immortals. Immortals are the big beefy warriors in the Necrons. They're really, really fun, they're really cool, and they can carry the Tesla guns. And I've always built my Immortals with the Tesla guns. They've never been better than the Gauss guns, but I like them because they used to have a rule where their shot could arc. And so you could hit the squad that you're shooting at, but then it could arc off and hit other squads. Now it has sustained hits too, which is the best version of sustained hits. I guess sustained hits 3. I think there's only 2 units in the game that have sustained hits 3. I want to say it's one of the assassins from the Imperium, and then there's something else with sustained hits 3. It might be Lilith Hesperex? But sustained hits 2 is really, really good. Every 6 turns into 3 successful hits. And if I take a Plasmancer in the squad, then criticals are on 5s and 6s. So all of a sudden I've got 20 shots hitting on 2s. I can reroll with some other shenanigans to the Necrons. And for every 5 and 6, it's scoring 3 successful hits. There's no AP, it's still not a good gun, but ooh, is it fun. It's fun to look at your opponent and say, take 22 saving throws on that squad. I love the slot machine, the roulette wheel units that are just kinda silly. I really, really like Necron Immortals. The Necrons in general are just really fun to play. Almost everything I've found is fun to play except Space Marines. I've played so many games of 10th edition with my Space Marines. And Space Marines, like all of their units are very good, but they're very expensive and you need every single unit to perform. And if they don't perform, the game can go really badly, really, really fast, which is like every single time one of my Space Marine units dies, almost feels like the game is over. Where Necrons and like Kroot and Dark Eldar, everything feels a little bit like, yeah, I've got plenty of tools to play around with. If a couple of things die, it's no big deal. I got other things I can do with stuff. But with the Space Marines, it's like, uh-oh, I lost my western flank. This is not good. I've got nothing to throw over there. Also, Necrons have Reanimation Protocol, which is just super fun. It lets you spend a little bit of extra time with all of your units. At the start of the command phase, you roll a dice and you get D3 wounds or models back to that squad, which is just really, really fun. And sometimes you can really start to stack that up. I want to play around with the Reanimator because the Reanimator, I think, gives you double D3, and which is really, really good, but it's a big, tall guy, and so it's really hard to hide it somewhere and just not have your opponent snipe it out. It has a 4-up invuln, which is really, really good. So you kind of got a 50-50 of shrugging off anything, but with the number of wounds it has, it can get pretty easily focused down by anything anti-tank. I've been having a ton of fun with my Necrons. No Catan needed. I don't like the Catan. They're cool, but the Void Dragon is a really, really interesting model. But I don't want to like leave 25% of my army at home and replace it with one big centerpiece model. Like I like bringing all the guys and having the guys on the table. A lot of these guys I built and put together in high school. I remember there was a snow day, or I was pretty sure there was gonna be a snow day. And so instead of doing any of my homework, I just put together Necron Warriors. And then, the next day when we got the call and there was a snow day, those models, I bring those models in game. It's wonderful. But speaking of things that are wonderful, new miniatures. Necron's got a lot of new minis not that long ago, but if we were gonna get new stuff, I think we should get Locust Lord. It's weird that we got the Overlord with the Transcendent Shroud, which is just a brand new thing. It's a cool model, but there's one unit in the game that you currently cannot buy for the Necrons, and is the Locust Lord. So Games Workshop, give us the Locust Lord. But if you are a Thousand Suns player, you have a brand spanking new unit in the Sekhetar Robots. And these guys have hit the scene, and it seems like people are kind of mixed on them. And I kind of see it. I think they're neat looking guys. They come in the new Battle Force, and the Battle Force looks good. You get 3 sorcerers, and you can have them on foot or on disc. On disc is really annoying because then they can kind of get anywhere at a moment's notice. And then you just get a bunch of rubrics, Scarab Occult, and 2 squads of 2 of the new robots. I think the Games Workshop paint job doesn't do them any favors with the kind of weirdly dirty white color, but it's dirty in a weird way. Like they actually look kind of filthy. Instead of just like an aged bone or a cream color, it's like white with just like streaks of grime on them, but not streaking grime. It's a little bit weird. It's like a sponging of brown. And then you got the nice crispy yellow and blue on some of their inside parts, but I think they look good. They've kind of got Anubis heads and a whole bunch of different guns. I think one part of the problem is that they got weak ankles. They got little tiny legs for these giant gun platform guys. And they don't quite seem to really speak to what they are. In the lore, they're supposed to be like infiltrator, super stealthy bodyguards, but they don't feel that super stealthy because they got these giant guns bolted onto their shoulders, kind of like the old dreadnoughts, where they don't have like joints. They're just toasters with guns, which is a fun, adorable thing that 40K does, where they get silly with their designs, but it does make them look a little bit off-balanced and a little less impressive. But I think they're okay. I think the real problem is the Thousand Sons just don't really have anything. The Thousand Sons actually got full codex treatment in 2016. I remember it like it was yesterday, and it was like crazy. A Primarch has come back from the dead, or not dead, Magnus never died, but a Primarch has shown up and he's leading a bunch of new Scarab Terminators and Rubric Marines. But then they kind of never got anything ever since then. And so their design philosophy for the Thousand Sons is Egyptian, and then that's kind of it. There's the Mulith Vortex Beast and the Zangors, but they're kind of stolen straight from Age of Sigmar and don't really look that 40K-y. But other than that, you got Rubrics, and then you got Scarab Occult, which look like Rubrics, and then you got the Sorcerers, who look like Rubrics. And so if something is to look like the Thousand Sons, it kind of has to look exactly like those models. If there was a whole bunch of new stuff that looked like the Sekhetar robots, I think these guys would look right at home. But just being a little weird and different, and being the only thing that's weird and different, I feel like they don't quite fit in with the Thousand Sons. I mean, if Games Workshop was looking for suggestions, Dreadnoughts, a Thousand Sons Dreadnought would, number one, it would fit right in. It's a sarcophagus on legs. The Rubric Marines are basically sarcophaguses in their armor. Their armor is sealed shut. There's just the dust of the Marines inside. They have almost no soul or no autonomy. They're just essentially robots. And like, that's what a Dreadnought is. And so if you wanted to do a Dreadnought for the Thousand Sons, I think every Chaos faction should have a Dreadnought, but I feel like it makes even more sense with the Thousand Sons. Also, the Mulith Vortex Beast is fine. It's like a weird, cool monster thing, but it doesn't really seem like a Tzeentchian demon. I mean, it's like a big, like, bulldog with no head, and then a giant solar pulse on its back. It's a really weird miniature. If you've never seen one in person, they don't make more sense in person, but they're very, very weird. Maybe turn that into a little something different. Probably just some sort of a shrine that floats alongside the Thousand Sons and then just shoots its crazy beams and has like crazy close combat attacks because it's just pure energy. Ooh, or just a bunch of flying books. I mean, I feel like I'm suggesting endless spells for the Thousand Sons, but they are the Psyker faction, so they probably should have some crazy, weird, wacky magic. And maybe some new, like a new Land Raider. The Land Raider is classic. It's getting a little old, but it still works really well. It's a very, very old plastic kit, but the door on the front of the Land Raider is actually made so that if you lift it up, both of the doors open up at the same time. It's like a weird bit of like technology inside of the old plastic kit. They'll probably never do that again, but it's pretty cool. But I think faction-specific Land Raiders would be really, really cool. And you could give it all sorts of different war gear. I mean, Grey Knights should have it. They used to have it with Forge World, where you could get like some Psy cannons and stuff on Dreadnoughts, and I think the Razorback tank could have a Psy cannon as well. Just give some of that for the Thousand Sons. I think that it would just be awesome because Thousand Sons don't have a lot of units to work with, and it would make the Sekhetar robots look a lot better in the world of the Thousand Sons. Also, I think another problem with the Sekhetar robots is they are supposed to be the stealthy robots. They remind me a little bit of the Ushabti from Old World from Tomb Kings. My cousin had a squad of the Ushabti and I was really jealous because they were really, really cool. Like, they kind of remind me a little bit of that, but they don't seem like stealthy infiltrators, and they literally have stealth and infiltrate in their stat line. Like, how stealthy can you be with the las cannon arm? Or a flamethrower arm, or just a giant weird power claw? They don't seem super stealthy. They seem like obliterators, like something that's just a big marching lug with a bunch of guns. And so I feel like maybe its rules should have been a little bit more based on that. Every now and then, Games Workshop is weird with their rules. One of the saddest units in Warhammer 40,000 is the Iron Strider Bellistari. For the Adeptus Mechanicus, the Chicken Walkers, these guys, I love them. I love them so much. They're a big cavalry unit, but they're sold in sets of 1 for $62.50, I think. And it's like a 30-point unit in the game. It is just a dude on a horse, and I kind of like it just being a dude on a horse, but not for $62.50. If it was $62.50 for 3 or 5, perfect, love it. But it's made as if it's a Sentinel Walker, a big armored thing with a bunch of great gun options that's kind of meant to wander around the board and fuss with objectives and shoot some stuff. But no, it's meant to be in a squad of 5 of these things. And it's just there is a disconnect between the manufacturer and the rules construction of this unit. I really wanted to do an AdMech army, and I wanted a ton of these things, and I started to put together the list, and 12 of these suckers was gonna be $600. And I was like, nope, can't do that. So I feel like sometimes that happens in 40K. For right now, the Sekhetar Robots are the only thing coming for the Thousand Sons. The Codex, there's nothing else. I'm pretty darn sure. I do think that Games Workshop sneakily has more for the Grey Knights that they haven't shown off yet, but I think the Sekhetar Robots are all the Thousand Sons are getting. But I do think further down the line, they'll get some more stuff. I think right now in 10th edition, Games Workshop is just kind of fixing up all of the ranges, getting rid of some of the weird branches and focusing in. And so after this, then we're gonna go down the weird rabbit holes of everything else in 40K. Let me know in the comments below, what do you guys think of the Sekhetar Robots? Are they Are they pretty cool? Are they just kind of weird and bad and they don't look like stealthy robots? I don't know. I think that they look pretty good and it'd be interesting to give them a paint. I'm sure Sean will get a couple of these guys, although I don't think he's a big fan, but he doesn't like Zangors. Who doesn't like Zangors? Leave a comment if you like Zangors. And also leave a comment telling Sean to buy some Zangors. Thanks for watching.